Happy holidays, everybody. How is your holiday season going, or how did it wrap up if you're watching this after New Year's? And I do apologize. I was trying to get this out by Tuesday, New Year's Eve, but didn't work out. But we normally put these out on Wednesdays, and Wednesday just happens to be New Year's Day. So if you're watching this on Wednesday, January 1st, Happy New Year's Day. And for all others, if you're watching this later, Happy New Year's. This CIRF report is for basically the first week after New Year's, and we call it the Winds of Change. So there you have it. Here's our summary slide for the influence. Basically, change is in the air. We start with this is big, 3 planets moving signs this week. That's unusual to have that many. We have Venus going into Pisces. We have Mars retrograding back into Cancer, and we have Mercury entering into Capricorn. So that's huge change right there. The I-Ching says 51, which is shock. Well, anytime you have big change, there is a high potential for a shock to the system. Anytime your body's adapting, it's a form of shock, whether or not it's repressed or even you're aware of it. Anytime there's adapting going on mentally or physically, there's a shock happening. Some shocks are more than others. Anytime I think of or see the word shock and have to relate it to astrology, I'm thinking more of Uranus and possibly Pluto. Those are the 2 big change planets. Uranus is about big, fast change, and Pluto is more about death and rebirth sort of change. But nonetheless, they're both related this week. At the middle of our week, Sun trine Uranus begins. Doesn't go exact. That's, I think, next week. But you've got change there, especially for Sun trine. And then you also have Uranus on another trine, and that just happens to be Pluto, the other change planet. So there's a lot of shock to the system in that regard. Then you have Mars opposed Pluto. There is a potential for big shock there in terms of the 2 power planets in perfect opposition with each other going exact. And then to exacerbate it all, you have this motivational go energy from the first quarter moon in Aries. And then the Dreambot saw, that's a really interesting one about continuity of the souls. But it has this flair of like higher self and our connectedness. They're interlink. So anyway, excited to show you all this, and let's get started. And we have another shout out to Madame Michelle. I'm so happy. I feel Aquarius cutting the shit already, especially in the tarot community. That's good to hear. And as an Aquarian myself, I'm really excited about, I'm really impatient, but I'm excited about seeing that we're getting the crap cut apart. But congratulations, you win the Best Comment Award, and I do like your comment on top of that. All right, here's the Dreambot. Number 1 word is spirit. And you see where I'm going with this? Where you've got people, persons. There's a lot of interpersonal or a lot of focus on self. I think the word self is even in there. And so, but we also have other memes like the best and better. And so for me, this thing is all about higher self and the continuity of the soul or the spirit, or however you want to say it. And the other color here has to do with free will. So anyway, free will and Path of the Soul, Journey of the Souls. That's a book name. Really good book, by the way, Journey of the Souls or Journey of Soul. I don't know, something like that. I think it's Michael Newton. All right, let's get into the astrology. We're still in about the middle of our eclipse cycle, 6-month cycle. And here I would like to show you the Transitions that 3 of our planets have. This is Mars retreating back into Cancer right there. We have Venus moving into Pisces. She gets exalted in Pisces. Let me delete that. And then we have Mercury moving into Capricorn. I enjoy having Mercury in my natal Capricorn. All right, here's your energy graph. There does take a little dip. This line represents just a change potential or shock potential. And I think it's at the beginning, a lot in the beginning and a lot towards the end. It may not dip that much. I think it might be pretty square, straight across as far as change potential. But let's talk about those changes. On day 1, Thursday, the 2nd of January, 2025, we have Venus at 9:23 p.m. moving into Pisces right here, right there you have it. And Venus entering into Pisces represents a heightened state of all things Pisces, love, compassion, and then spiritualism. But since it's Venus, we're looking at connection. So spiritual connection, that's a direct match to our dream bot. Notice that. And because she's exalted means that she has a boost of her capabilities and accentuated traits. So she does it really well in Pisces. Things do feel a bit more connected. Oneness, increased artistic inspiration, increase in creative expression, heightened intuition and psychic abilities, especially interpersonally. So telepathy and those kinds of abilities, greater connection to the divine and mystical experiences, but we might have a difficulty setting healthy boundaries, might have a harder time saying no. It may be easier to get guilt tripped, or escape might increase because Pisces is our planet of escapism. Archetypes that you might want to look at Venus in Pisces is the compassionate healer dissolving emotional boundaries, or the dreamy idealist lost in romantic fantasy, or shorter, you might have intuitive healer or boundary dissolver. I like all of those. Any of those that you like the best? And you're going to have her all week like that. And then the next big potential for shock or power struggle is Mars in retrograde at very early Leo oppose Pluto in very early Aquarius. And this is an exact opposition, and that exactness happens at 1:21 a.m. Central Standard Time on the 3rd of January. This represents a powerful clash between personal desires and collective transformations. There's a tension between the asserting individual will and surrendering to profound changes in society. You might feel with this opposition the opportunity for deep transformational personal and empowerment. You might have increased courage to stand up for your beliefs and core values or what you believe in. Powerful disclosure might be happening, very possible. But you might have a tendency towards power struggles. Confrontations are highly likely. Stubbornness and inflexibility in the face of necessary change is possible. Archetypes here with this opposition is rebel without a cause. Rebel with a cause might have a passionate change agent. There's a leadership in here as well, as Mars in Leo indicates. The courageous lion confronting the collective shadow. And then Saturday, the 4th, of note, the highest amount of mutable planets arrives here. Just about all our planets are in mutable signs. And what that means is we are much easier to adapt. And that's good because if there's winds of change, that is good that we have a lot of mutable signs. It's like as above, so below, or synchronistically correlated here. Mutable is strong all week long. It's either 5 or 6 planets. It's undeniable, and I think it helps us navigate these changes that we are about to go under. All right, on Sunday the 5th, this is where Sun trine Uranus begins. This is normally when I post these alignments, they're exact, but because it's synchronistic with this whole change theme and shock theme, I think this is a major part of it, and it starts on Sunday the 5th. So this is like an 8-degree orb, so it's very, very early on in this alignment, but all the while, as this trine is active, it represents a harmonious alignment between tradition and innovation, also stability and change. It signifies a time of grounded progress, practical breakthroughs, and the ability to integrate new ideas into established structures. You might feel an increased ability to make positive changes in a stable and sustainable way. There is a potential for unexpected financial or career type breakthroughs. However, there might be a tendency to resist change as the change planet Uranus is in a fixed sign of Taurus, and difficulty balancing the need for security with the need for freedom. That's Uranus is all about liberty and freedom. An archetype possible here is the stability-seeking revolutionary, tradition-breaking pragmatist, or tangible innovator. It's all about earth and change. Earth changes. No surprise there, eh? Okay, first quarter moon, and on today, Monday the 6th, we also have Mars as its first day back into Cancer as it continues its retrograde. But first, the first quarter moon in Aries conjunct with Chiron, that's about a 3-degree orb, represents a powerful opportunity for healing and growth by embracing vulnerability and facing personal wounds. It signifies a time of confronting past hurts, overcoming insecurities with Aries, and asserting oneself despite challenges. And it is a first quarter moon, which is very motivational. It's up and go. It's very yang. So yang inside of another yang, great. The essence of Mars in Cancer is really a blend of dynamic action and emotional sensitivity or some form of protection. So that's why you have the emotional fighter. It can be very more defensive. Mars in Cancer is a lot more defensive in nature versus maybe Mars in a fire sign, for example. So more of a defensive fighter. An emotional fighter, an intuitive leader, a home defender, there's your defense, a sensitive doer. We could be easily motivated by other people's emotions. It could be the family guardian would be a good archetype as well. All right, on Tuesday the 7th, this is where Mercury is almost heading into Capricorn. And there we go, Wednesday the 8th. Mercury enters Capricorn at 4:29 a.m. on the 8th of January. And it represents a time of really focused communication, highly practical thinking, and strategic planning. It signifies a period of mental discipline, lots of organization, planning, strong desire for tangible results in intellectual pursuits. When we all experience Mercury entering into Capricorn, it might feel a little more ability to create and follow structured goals. We might have an improvement in communication skills, and especially in the professional setting or in your career. Speaking of career, maybe career advancement or an opportunity for recognition of some sort. But we might have difficulty expressing emotions or empathizing at all. Might struggle with work-life balance, might become a workaholic. All that sounds a little bit close to home for me. And archetypes of Mercury and Capricorn would be the disciplined thinker, strategic planner, pragmatic communicator, ambitious analyst, and responsible scholar. Okay. With that, let's head into our I-Ching because the reading put it at 51 with no change lines. One hears thunder unexpectedly. First comes fear, then a sharpened vision. So that's your overview. What do most people feel with hexagram 51? Well, sudden insight or possible shock, surprise, or startle initially. But then it might have a revelation or a clarity following the initial shock. It's possible to have an epiphany, a sudden understanding or clarity about a situation, maybe a feeling of renewal or rebirth, more akin to like the Pluto, the late stage Pluto influence. Might also have the energy and vigor, excitement, vitality. Might have an inner turmoil or restlessness, or potentially an inner conflict. Now, that's the match to the Mars opposed Pluto as well, the inner conflict. All right, let's finish out the influence, summarize it so we can get on to the solution. This lady looks surprised, so shock potentially this week certainly has its bountiful opportunity to feel energetic shifts and sudden changes. There isn't one singular astrological alignment to fully explain this 51 shock, but as I mentioned earlier, putting all these shifts together and the powerful alignments, especially at the first quarter moon, suddenly does have an energetic sense of shock and awe to it. Not to mention the newness of a new year upon us and the expected transitions of elected power in the United States. And we've all heard the rumors, I'm sure, about the challenges to this transition potentially. So, in fact, maybe the biggest shock of all might be nothing happens whatsoever. That might be even more shocking than something shocking happening. But very few expect the status quo to continue much longer. All right, there you have it. We'll get to the solution now, but I want to give you the background. And so now we take the same hexagram because there was no change lines, and we look for behaviors. So react swiftly to new situations, take bold or unexpected actions, embrace change, demonstrate flexibility. Remember all the mutable signs, that should help. Be vigilant, remaining alert. Don't live in fear, though. Mediate or reflect to manage inner turmoil. Move forward. That is a match to the first quarter moon. And avoid complacency. It's newness, folks. Now, for me, the one planet, I know that Uranus is the main shock planet, but I think Pluto can equally do that. And I think because Pluto and Mars had the opposition, but Pluto is also on that road over to that trine over to Uranus. So lots of change happening with that trine, with the potential to be a very powerful time of change. I think that's the biggest influence. You can, I wouldn't mind if you disagree with me and whatsoever, but that's what we're basing our solutions off of because it goes into our conversion chart. We go into the Rave Mandala hexagram 60 and we get Sagittarius Sidereal. So hexagram 60 of the Rave, we get rigidity, line 6, the intuitive intellect to recognize when absolute rigidity is essential, but with innovative applications to lessen its severity. A fixed energy that is unusual in its capacity for restraint. Basically, if you see what's happening here, it's a rigidity that you're not going to bend on, but in doing so, you soften the blow by offering a solution, offering innovation, or innovation suddenly springs to mind so that you don't have to change your position. And that's the beauty of this line. All right, ready to summarize it all? Let's do it. All right. All right, so we have I-Ching 51. It's called the shock or the arousing. It means pay attention, look around, stay, don't live in fear, but stay attentive, be aware. And then the Rave Mandala 60, line 6, basically is a form of not rigidity, but well, yeah, it is rigidity, but I make this akin to Stoicism. Stoicism breeds innovation. The picture here is Zeno of Citium, and he is known as the father of Stoicism. All right, Sagittarius is our sidereal and first quarter moon. So this week is all about mindfully and intently pushing forward. There is no doubt about that. Every one of these is pushing forward. The first quarter moon recommends pushing hard towards lunar goals that you designed last week. This is a great match to the sidereal Sagittarius, who says, let's freaking go. However, the I-Ching and the Rave both warn of key things to consider during your yang output or your yang action. First, focusing up here on the I-Ching, broaden your awareness. Be vigilant and watch for unusual circumstances around you. Since this is to be done during productive activity, you should watch out for getting too much tunnel vision on your objective or task. Does anybody recognize this? Get overly focused on your task and forget to be looking around you. So those are not truly compatible. So you're going to have to do some multitasking, which is very hard for most. It's, technically impossible for humans to do multitasking. But I ask you in this week, even though you're going to be probably, doing some sort of task, to don't get so sucked in or tunnel vision that you forget to look around you and pay attention. Okay. When you do find unusual circumstances, embrace a more rigid and stoic response. Okay. That's up here in the Rave. The Rave is recommending that you use your power. This is where Pluto is, by the way. Pluto is here, so use your inner power, your subconscious power, to be non-reactive. Now, it doesn't mean you don't react at all. It means you initially lock down. You don't just automatically, impulsively react if something odd happens or unusual, shocking event. But it doesn't mean that you just repress and then ignore what's happening. That's not what we're doing. We're not reacting, and then don't immediately fold emotionally, or this is kind of how we're being taught in the military. As a veteran myself, I know that we try to get the emotional reaction out of you so that you don't just be unpredictable. So some big shocking event happens, you just look at it, stay poised, stay strong, don't emotionally fold, and then this is the rigidity offered in the Rave, is offer your innovation, offer a solution, look for an opportunity for positive change, even though something maybe negative is happening. But remember too, shocking doesn't have to be always negative. It can be very positive too. But the point is, it's so different than what we have known before, or you were not expecting it. So shock doesn't denote negative or positive. But anyway, stay strong. Have a stoic, non-reactive response. But then it's time to react. So the secret to life is in your reactions, meaning that even not reacting is a reaction, right? So you see the event, so let's call that A, and then B, you feel the urge to do something. That doesn't automatically mean you do it because we're stoic and find non-reactive. Then is our behavioral choice response. That's C. A, B, C. A is a stimulus, B is the emotion, C is your reaction to it, your behavioral choice. So choose something of meaning. And even if you decide to do nothing, which a lot of us do, especially if we're repressors or Mercury in Capricorn, like I do, it tends to just never do anything. She's just observing it and ignoring it. Well, that's not the right answer either. So C has to be premium, and it should be in alignment with your values. Make a conscious choice to react from the stimulus, but not out of the emotion that you might have felt or the urge that you immediately felt. All right, wait for that to pass and consciously choose what behavior is right for you. I hope I made sense there. If not, you know where to ask it below, and let's clarify. But I appreciate all of you. I hope you have a very happy new year, and God bless us in 2025. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.